Welcome to the latest Libertas video. Today we're going to be taking a quick look at the Assassin's Bracer from Assassin's Creed Origins.
Assassinate!
Stop doing that! Alright, the box describes this as the Assassin's Bracer with Hidden Blade. Of course, that just means it is the back left gauntlet from Assassin's Creed Origins. This is your official replica made by ThinkGeek. I think they were just trying not to spoil anything, as this was released, I think, 2 to 3 weeks before the game actually came out. It represents the highest level that box gauntlet goes in Assassin's Creed Origins, so spoiler alert, as you go along and craft, you can get your gauntlet to end up looking like this at the end. So it also includes the Hidden Blade at its highest form as well, which was interesting. I didn't expect that kind of going into it. So when I bought this gauntlet, initially I was like, it might just be an interesting variant of an Egyptian Assassin's Creed blade and stuff like that, but this is the end of the goal of crafting your Hidden Blade as high as it can go. So of course with the DLC they might update that a little bit more, I'm not sure, but as far as the base game goes, that's how it ends. So all right, so let's take a quick look at it. The material for the top is this thicker rubber material, so it's a little flexible, which is nice. Typically we've seen very rigid plastic style bracers, so that's a nice addition. We have a nice buckle system. That's probably one of the really cool features of this. It's got a real, metal buckles. Then you got this leather, or if it's not leather, it's a faux leather. If it is real leather, it's a cheaper one, but it's a nice addition to these gauntlets instead of having a plastic piece coming out imitating leather. The base plate is made out of a more rigid plastic, still flexible, but it's a lot glossier looking. And then you have the Hidden Blade, which is made out of PVC. Has a locking mechanism on the back, like we've seen with typical Assassin's blades, and of course the release is up here like most blades. It's just held in a little bit more design, but you shoot it out and then you can retract it. So it's spring-loaded, it's nice, kind of on par with what we've seen with typical Assassin's official replicas. Let's put it on for scale reference, because that's usually where a lot of my cons come from, and as you can see, it is a little small, at least for me. If you've seen my previous video where I did build my own Hidden Blade, it's a lot larger, and probably too large for Bayek's gauntlet, because he didn't have the biggest left gauntlet in the world, but so it probably should be somewhere in between those two. I can kind of have both extremes. So if you're a person like me, I'm around 6 foot tall, this gauntlet might be a little small on you, or bracer might be a little small, but if you're shorter, hey, this could work out really well. The only downside is the gauntlet does have a lot of play. Now, I have it on the second to lowest setting right now, our second tightest setting, just so I could slip it on for this demonstration. I could tighten it up a little bit more, but I believe it's still going to have some play. We ran into that issue when we were actually making the short video. This gauntlet just kind of started trailing down, all of a sudden it looks like your blade's kind of not even getting to your hand. So that might be an issue that you can run into with this type of blade. So I just want to be honest about that. As far as the blade release, it gets stuck every once in a while, but there it goes. Bayek's hidden blade wasn't all that large in the game itself, so you can't really knock it too much for being short here, but it is definitely a lot shorter than we have seen with previous assassins. But in terms of being a replica, it might be more accurate than, say, previous hidden blades have been, so can't knock it too much. Let's lock it back up. Overall, I mean, it's not terrible. I mean, it's a good rendition of the hidden blade. It's officially licensed, so it's got the detail there. It's not as detailed as, say, we saw with Aguilar's hidden blade and bracer, but you know, Bayek's wasn't all that detailed to begin with. It's just a lot of leather pieces, but you know, maybe they could have done a little bit more with the detail. But overall, it's just a solid entry. It's good for if you want a quick prop to use for a costume. That's still definitely going to have all that detail there, especially if like you're buying a costume of Bayek and you want something that's going to look a little bit more realistic than just, say, something made out of faux leather that was just strapped together. At least you'll have your hidden blade and you'll have your bracer. So they're solid. It's basically on par with everything else what we've seen to date. Maybe a little better in its construction and a little bit more accurate, just because Bayek stuff wasn't all that large in the game itself. So if you're interested in a gauntlet such as this, there'll be a link in the description below where you can buy it. I think they're going roughly for around $30 when I got it, so you know, as time goes on they will go down in price. But definitely a solid entry. If you're looking for something like this, I'd highly recommend it. If you're not, and you want something maybe a little bit more realistic, definitely check out the previous videos on my custom Bayek leather gauntlet that I made as I was preparing for the game. So it's not 100% accurate to say this, but it'll give you a good idea of how to build your own leather gauntlet, which in one is very rewarding, and two can look more realistic and be a lot more purposeful for, say, a costume. If you're going to a convention or something. So that's going to do it for this gauntlet from Assassin's Creed Origins. Like I said, it's definitely just a really good, solid entry. Not any really better than stuff we've seen in the past, and not any worse by any means. Probably one of the better ones that they've made lately. So ThinkGeek did a good job with this one. So that's going to do it for this review. We'll see you on the next Libertas video.